Hi, and welcome to my August 2025 Plan With Me, the first monthly setup for my new journal. This month I'm working with Ieebee, a journal and scrapbooking supplies store, to share a new washi tape set they kindly sent my way. The one I chose is called Coffee Memories, and I'll have the link to it below in the description box if you want it for yourself. It features 14 washi tapes, and I think I consistently used at least 4 of them, and another few of them a bit more sparingly, so I definitely got a lot of use out of them for this theme. I was initially going to do a coffee theme, but unless I wanted to do a lot of drawing, which I did not feel like for this month, I needed to modify it a bit. So I pulled everything in my collection for a vintage feeling, and I came up with a theme I've called Books and Beverages. Honestly, I have so many other types of drink stickers and so many book stickers as well, so I thought I'd go with kind of like an old book cafe feel, and I'm legit obsessed with how this turned out. I kept the colours very neutral and very brown since I wanted everything to complement the washi tapes that I chose from the set from Ieebee, but it needed some contrast, so I thought maybe a blue or a purple. I had some stunning blue transfer stickers in like little blob shapes, which I used as kind of like imitating spilled drinks, sort of. Originally I'd planned to make those blobs kind of like coffee stains, but the only colour I had in those blobs was black and nothing in a brown. And it was the wrong shade of black too, you couldn't even get away with it as like a dark coffee colour, so I went and had a look and the blue was super pretty against all the browns, and that it would make a perfect contrast colour. So I went through all of my Arrtx markers and I found 2 in a blue that was similar enough to the blue blob stickers that I could get away with, you know, putting them together. So I chose a light and a dark blue to make a beautiful blue gradient for the headings, and also I found 2 in a brown as well to do the same thing, and I think they brought everything together perfectly. Also, we've already passed it, but a large amount of the stickers that I've used for this month have come from several different sticky subscription packs. I subscribe to the vintage one. This isn't sponsored or anything, I pay for them myself, but I just wanted to let you know in case you wanted to try and chase down any of those sticker sheets for yourself. Other than those, I've used a variety of sticker sets, sticker books, and vintagey papers. I'll have as many of them linked in the description box as I can, but keep in mind that sometimes things go out of stock or they were gifts, so I don't know where they came from. Anyway, getting started now with the cover page, and in terms of the amount that I've done, it's probably one of the most low-key spreads that I've ever done. When setting this journal up, I did a swatch page, and I have these fun glitter outline pens. I wanted to see how they looked on the paper, but thought they'd likely bleed through the page, and they did. I knew I wanted that page that was bled through to be used in a cover spread, so I just used some of the vintage newspapers I have, and I created a cover for the page, so no more bleed through. I actually love how this whole thing looks too. To make it feel a bit prettier and lend to a vintage vibe, I used my corner punch to create cute little corners and add some visual interest. Then it was a simple matter of adding some bits and pieces to go along with the theme. I also really love the simple gradient heading for August with a small vignette underneath. It's not too complicated, but it's also super impactful, in my opinion. The gradient with the paint markers was pretty easy to do. It's just a matter of using the 2 paint pens to blend the colours together while the paint is still wet. You need to move fast because the Arrtx markers dry really quickly, but as long as you do 1 letter at a time, you'll be fine. I layer a little bit of the lighter blue, blend in a little bit of the dark blue, add a little more light and blend, and so on until I reach a point where the gradient feels right and isn't just like a jarring line between the 2 tones. I got this set of gold vintage cardboard stickers and I used a bunch of them throughout this theme. Those, along with some rose gold leaf stickers, brought just a touch of elegance to everything without it being too much. I'm so happy with the balance throughout this whole month between the neutrals, the dark browns, bright blues and the golds, all with a touch of a vintage flair except for the bricks, but they are for the coffee shop / book cafe vibes and I have zero regrets about adding those in. You'll see those coming a little bit later. This sticker book here that I'm using is borrowing very heavily from a certain franchise by the author, she who shall not be named. I didn't realise that when I purchased this sticker book, or I wouldn't have gotten it at all, and I don't want to waste what I've already purchased, but I just want to make it known that while I grew up loving the franchise, I don't support it. I'll still have the sticker book linked for anyone that wants it anyway, provided it's still in stock when this video goes up, but it's not something that I'll be repurchasing when I've used up what I've already paid for. These blue blobs here are actually transfer stickers. You peel off the backing and place it where you want it, and then you rub the back with pressure. I use my little spatula that I got from Journal Say until you can peel the front plastic back up, and then they're stuck to your page. Because of the transfer method, they can often look like they were already printed onto the page. I love using these. They're super versatile and they can be used on top of washi tapes and other papers and stuff as well. Moving on to the next spread, which as always is my calendar. Honestly, I tried just using a list for events and appointments instead of taking up the whole space with a calendar, but it just wasn't for me. The way a calendar is laid out just works better for me visually, and it's easier for me to process the information that way. I'm using a blue marker here to colour the space for the dates, and while it's not the exact same blue as the transfer blobs, I have enough different blues in the washi tapes, the markers, and other stickers that it wasn't an issue when it was all together, and I actually quite like the variety of blues that sit against all the browns. Because this is a new journal size for me, it took quite a bit of trial and error to come up with a layout that worked. The boxes are 5 dot grid spaces high by 6 dot grid spaces wide. This seems to be okay for fitting 1 or 2 things onto each date while still being able to decorate around it all, though I've already sketched out September and I do change the sizing a little bit. These washi tapes from Ieebee are the perfect addition to this theme, especially the diamond plaid sort of one and the newspaper inspired one. The coffee ones are also so adorable and not too busy, so I was able to incorporate some of them really nicely without it being too overwhelming. The more neutral ones are definitely my favourites though. I'm basically using the washi tapes for anchor points, along with the newspaper pages as well. They create a point with which to place stickers and other things so they aren't just sort of floating in the middle of nowhere. I do the same thing with the frames here that I've cut into small pieces to act sort of like little lacy washi tape pieces. I also used both sides of those cut up frames, some with the original print on the outside and some I turned over for the creamy white colour that's a bit more flat and neutral, for when I wanted something that was plain and wouldn't overtake all the other elements that I had going on. Also, I actually hadn't intended on using my little dot stickers for this theme, but I felt like it needed something neutral but small to fit into some of the spaces, and the blue and brown coloured dots worked out perfectly. I'll still have to come back and add a few finishing touches to the cover and the calendar spreads, which is normal for me, but for now we're going on to the next page. Here I have a place to record down anything we need in the grocery shop, and on the other page a self-care bingo. The self-care bingo is something I've only started doing recently, but I'm continuing it because I actually love doing it, even though I wasn't sure that I would. I'm using my Tombow 990 brush pen here to highlight every second line. It adds some visual weight to the page without it being too much since it's so pale. It was the perfect choice to go with this theme. Here I'm using some of the newspaper inspired washi tape to create a fun border for the bingo table. This came out way better than I expected actually, though if I'd used something that was busier or darker it might not have worked so well, maybe? I just use a craft knife and a ruler to gently trim the ends so it all sits nice and neatly. I've had these coffee-stained newspaper washi sheets for so long, and I've never really had a chance to use them for anything, and now is finally the time. I only use them sparingly throughout since they're small, so it's hard to find good places for it, but I love the little touch of age that they add with all those coffee stains. Flipping back and adding a couple more things to the cover spread just to finish it off, but honestly I didn't feel like it needed much more and I was happy with where it ended. And doing the same for the calendar spread, though I added a little more to this one I think because it needed some more balance. On to the next spread for self-care. We have mood and symptom trackers as usual and my self-care trackers. Why do I need self-care bingo and self-care trackers, you may ask? Well, as some of you may know, I have ADHD and am likely autistic, and sometimes even the most basic of tasks can be like climbing the sky. That, or because of ADHD and brain fog, I forget when I have done or when I need to do things for myself. The self-care trackers are basically like habit trackers for me, except I don't call them that because I can't form a habit to save my life. I use these to track basic self-care things like showering, flossing, which I still need to be more consistent with, tracking if I've done my journal, and mindfulness, things like that. The things that I track change sometimes, but basically this is for things that I need to do for myself to feel somewhat put together and not like I'm a walking mess. On the other hand, I use self-care bingo for things that I like to do for myself but aren't daily or weekly things that I need to do. Things like using a face mask, going to therapy, reading a physical book, and tidying and organising my office. They're things that make me feel better physically or emotionally but aren't done on the regular. Side note, I'm not sure yet how I feel working in a square journal, but I love that my mood, symptoms, and sleep trackers fit horizontally on one page. Huzzah! It's the small things. we've made good progress so far, so now it's on to my sleep tracker, which is a staple for my journal. As a person with chronic illness and insomnia, it's an important part of my life to keep tabs on. There's not much different than usual here, but I've made a few quality of life tweaks this month. The main one being that I've actually added the hours slept to both ends of the sleep tracker just to make it easier to see when I'm filling out the chart at the end of the month. It can be a pain to make sure you're at the right spot all the way from the other side, and I get it wrong more often than I'd like to admit. The other change is I've added a few other things to track. Typically, I just track how many hours I've slept and the quality of that sleep, which reminds me I forgot to add a key for sleep quality again. I do this all the time, so I'm going to have to go back and do that when I'm done here. But yeah, this month I've also added a spot to record if I use my CPAP machine that night, because I also have sleep apnea, and also have taken a sleeping tablet that night. I try not to take them too often, but there are a lot of times where I have to be awake and, with it for school stuff for my daughter, or events or functions or appointments that can't happen if I'm awake until 5 a.m. because of insomnia. So yeah, I'm hoping these little changes will allow me to see some extra data and see if things are helping or hindering, and if, CPAP therapy is actually contributing to a better sleep and those sorts of things. You will have seen me using a lot of these tiny little brown snowflakes, little flowers and things like that, and they're all from a PET tape that I got from Journal Say. There was a lot of elements on the tape that I didn't use, but there was a solid amount that worked perfectly to lend to the vintage part of the theme. The only thing is that this tape wasn't kiss cut, so I had to individually cut out every single piece, and it took forever. I actually just turned off my camera at one point and spent 2 hours fussy cutting as many bits as I thought I'd need so I didn't have to do it as I was going. But it was worth it in the end because they were a fantastic addition. You can see the whole roll at the start of the video, and if it's still available, I'll have it linked in the description box. Now I'm working on my songs on repeat and things I'm into spreads. These are basically my form of memory keeping along with the next spread coming, and I need them because your girl can't remember anything. Here, I tried using washi tape as a border for the headers, and I'm not really sure if I love it or not. I mean, it's not bad by any means, I'm just not sure if I like it as much as some of the other spreads that I've done for this theme. I wonder if I'd used the same tape for top and bottom if I would have liked it more, maybe? Also, the songs on repeat letters are slightly smaller than the other heading for things I'm into, and I am I'm unreasonably annoyed about it. Other than that, I've tried not to do too much on this spread since a lot of it will become really busy when I start writing down all of the info for that month. The other memory keeping spread is my month at a glance, and rather than things that have my attention that month, it's more for memories, activities, and events that have happened. Like I said, I forget everything, and I need this. Like the other spread, I keep this a little more minimal since the functionality requires blank space, and a lot of the interest will come from me using it throughout the month. This is the final spread for this month, and it's a planning and reflection spread. Technically it's 2 pages, not a spread, but I try and sandwich them together so they look like they belong with each other. I use the review spread to reflect on the positives and the negatives of the month. It's a great task to help with self-esteem and self-worth. And the other is a content planner. Creating on this channel is my job, and I found that this tracking system has been working really well to keep me organised. You'll get to see how a filled out content tracker looks if I do a flip through from my B5 journal, but it's made a huge difference for me and now I can't go without it. I've really enjoyed myself creating this theme for August. It's warm, cozy, and aesthetically pleasing. The pop of blue also, it just makes me very happy. What's been your favourite part of this whole setup? While we flip through everything that has been completed in today's video, I just want to say a big thank you to Ieebee for working with me again and sending me these products for free. I have all their info in the description box if you want anything for yourself, as well as the links to the items that I used from the Ieebee website and my affiliate link as well, which will support me with a small commission if you use it. You can also use code TASH at checkout for a 30% discount. If you're still here, first of all, thank you so much. And secondly, leave me a book or a beverage emoji of your choice in the comments so that I know that you were here until the end. Also, don't forget to subscribe and like the video if you had fun watching. I'll have more content like this coming your way soon, including a reading journal that I'm almost ready to start filming. With all of that being said, thank you so much as always for spending your time with me. I hope that you are having a fantastic time of day and are as safe and as happy as you can be, and I will see you hopefully next time.